this one over here. I'm gonna go live on this
I ain't in the way of nothing.
and where it says start live. But I'm gonna rotate the phone. Good evening, and thank you for joining me for this edition of the Pulpit, Politics, and People. I am live this evening. I am your host, Aliyah Hakeem. Today is January 17, 2021. This evening, I am here with a candidate for the Chattanooga City Council seat, District 5. Out of the 5 candidates for that council seat, Mr. Russell Gilbert Mr. Russell Gilbert is going to run for city mayor for Chattanooga. Out of the 5 candidates for that council seat, District 5, I am here with Mr. Isaiah Hester. Can you say good evening to us, Mr.
Good
Hester?
evening. Thank you for inviting me to come to your show.
Very good, very good. This evening we're going to discuss Mr. Hester's candidacy for the District 5 City Council, City of Chattanooga Council seat, District 5, and we are going to ask him a few questions and ask him to give us a few pieces of information about himself. So, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Just a few pieces of information for the very beginning. Just in the District 5 area, just for the City Council seat of Chattanooga, District 5, that area covers Bonnie Oaks, Delwood, Eastgate 1 and 2, Lake Hills, and Woodmore 1 and 2. That's Delwood, Bonnie Oaks, Eastgate 1 and 2, Lake Hills, Woodmore 1 and 2. And that's just for the zip code 3744411. Now, the information that I gathered over the internet for, I guess, maybe the past 10 years of census taking for the city of Chattanooga, just for the area covering the zip code 3744411, the population in that area is 17,587 people live in the 37411 area code, or zip code, I'm sorry. Now, that breaks down to about 59.2% Black or African American people living in that area, and that also breaks down to about 36.2% of Caucasian or white people living in that area. So that's the zip code 37411, the Bonnie Oaks, Delwood, Eastgate 1 and 2, Lake Hills, Woodmore 1 and 2 areas. Now, the District 5 also covers Kings Point. That's going to be Kings Point 1, 2, and 3. And that Kings Point area 1, 2, and 3 covers the zip code 37416. Just in the 37416 area alone, the population is 14,486. That breaks down racially to 45.3% Black or African American, 50.3% white or Caucasian, and 0.9% Asian for that area, the area 37416 zip code, and that's the Kings Point areas, 1, 2, and 3. The average household income for those areas is $47,610. I wanted to bring out the racial differences, the racial variances for the 37411 zip code and the 37416 zip code. I thought it was very interesting to get these numbers because, first of all, numbers never lie. But then I thought it would be better able to give the candidate and even the incumbent some information that we had never considered in running for an office. So, Mr. Hester, listening to those numbers, what is your thought about how to structure your candidacy for District 5 or how to structure your platform in meeting the needs of all those people?
Okay, I think we have a diverse group in District 5. And as far as meeting the needs, at one point I was the vice president of Washington Hill Neighborhood Association for 4 terms. And being the vice president of the Neighborhood Association, being the Neighborhood Association itself, we had a diverse group of people in our group. And from canvassing these various neighborhoods, Kings Point, the Delwood and all that, one thing I noticed that we have common problems, common issues, regardless where we travel. We have these common problems such as overgrowth of grass in somebody's lot, empty lots. So, abandoned cars in the neighborhood, potholes and all that stuff. Those are common problems that can be addressed, that I would address as a city councilman. One thing we can do is send out a code inspector to address those issues. As far as the potholes, the city allocates a certain amount of money to take care of the potholes and all that. But to answer your question, we have common problems that we must address. And thanks for breaking it down for me. And those problems we can address, and we're all neighbors, and we would work it out.
What do you think about the racial diversity or the racial breakdown between mainly black and white constituents in District 5, and then just with the few number of Asians that live in that district?
We embrace the differences. We may look different, may worship different, but we all people. We have the common interests. A lot of folks like sports and all that kind of stuff, but we must embrace our likeness, whatever. And also in those groups, we have a lot of LBGT folks too in those neighborhoods. We have a lot of youth and all that. So those are a lot of things we have to address everybody's interests in the neighborhoods.
So that would be you're accommodating the various racial divides or the racial ethnic groups that live in those areas.
Right.
Have you on your road to accommodating the different people in not just District 5? What about the different people you come in contact with, maybe at your job or things like that?
How we accommodate them on jobs and all that?
Yes.
I guess the only way to accommodate folks is to treat everybody with respect. Treat everybody with respect. We all the golden rule: do unto others as you have them do unto you. So we treat everybody with respect, and that's the way we have to do it on the jobs or wherever.
You're willing to listen. You're willing to listen.
That's correct.
I always tell people that I talk to on a regular basis, a good listener or the best leader listens first.
That's correct.
The best leader listens first. Then you're better able to hear what's not being said. You're better able to hear what's not being said. So in taking the seat to the city council, once you acquire the seat, the District 5 seat to city council, would you be better able to work with some of the other council people in the event that monies are going to one district and they need to come to your district, and how would you handle that variation?
I think we have to work together. We're one city, and for the best interest of the city, we have to work together. Those in East Brainerd, those in my district, those in Hickson, we have, like I said before, we have mutual problems. We have crime in all these areas, and those are some things we have to address. And in my platform, one of the things I'm looking for, trying to do is not defund the police department, but reform the police department by proper training. You mentioned about how can we, as far as diversity, we could add more women, more minorities as far as training, and more minorities, more women in managerial position too with the law enforcement.
Well, with the law enforcement, and then even the actions that have taken place on a national level with the ex-president Donald Trump, there has to be a level of trust.
It does.
Between the candidate, the incumbent, even, and the people that he has or will take an oath to serve.
That's correct.
There has to be a level of trust. Have you created that level of trust, or can you create a level of trust towards the people that are diverse in the District 5?
I think that's one important element of a leader is truth in your communication. Always tell the truth. If I make promises that we're fighting for $15 an hour and benefits for city workers, if we can't achieve it the first year, I want to have a public forum where I can tell that I can't do that right now, but we're still working on it. We're working toward that goal. So honest communication. Honest communication starts right now for me as I canvass all these different areas. I'm going to tell the truth. Even when I put out literature, I'm going to tell the truth. And I ask that you examine all the candidates and the information they're sending you. Make sure that information is truthful.
Well, in speaking of some of the other candidates, I really on this show did not want to mention other candidates. I don't want to go into a personal direction of attack of other candidates, because that takes away from the issues and the problems that are going on in that district. So on this show, I would rather we stick to you and your candidacy and how you will be held accountable to the people that you're planning to serve in District 5.
That's fair. That's fair.
So how are you planning to be held accountable?
Held accountable by, if I can't do something, I will inform the people that I can't do it. Held accountable by, one thing, I want to be, my word is my bond. I strive, my word is my bond. If I can't do something, I need to address it. I need to tell the people I can't do it, but we're seeking that goal. We're on the road to it.
You're seeking a goal. What are some of the goals that you see that need to be attained for District 5?
One of the problems, you mentioned all the numbers. District 5 is a working middle class area. However, some of the areas are below the poverty level. And one of the problems we've seen that 4,000 students enter into the Hamilton County school system every year, but 1/4 of those kids are ill prepared for kindergarten.
Wow.
So, and the studies I've seen that the brain develops, 80% of the brain developed by the age of 3. And I think one of the problems is that the problem with early childhood development is that a lot of kids don't have the proper, they don't have the proper, daycare. And one thing we want to do in District 5 is anybody making $75,000 or less, family of 4, we want to subsidize the daycare for them. I know it's a big problem national-wide for families. And I think that's one way we can cope with this problem of kids ill-prepared for kindergarten. And you know that by the second grade, they have these testing where they see how many prisons they're gonna build.
Wow.
By the second grade. And I want to stem the tide of the pipeline from school to prison. I think that's one way we can achieve it. I'm very passionate about that.
So the education piece, the educational piece in District 5 is one of the things that you're going to have on your list of goals.
It is.
To take care of the children. The poverty level, you mentioned the poverty level, below the poverty level.
Right.
Now, of course, now I look back in area or zip code 37411, which again carries the Bunny Oaks area, the Delwood area, the Eastgate 1 and 2 areas, Lakewood or Lake Hills area, and the Woodmore areas. And that, of course, has an average income household of $41,323. And then in the Kings Point areas, 37416, that area has an average household income of $47,610. You mentioned education. What about the policing? What about the have you seen any domestic violence issues? Have you seen, what is the crime level like in those areas?
According to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, larceny is on the rise. Domestic violence is on the rise.
Wow.
Petty theft is on the rise. In 2018, that's the data I got from 2018. Murders, homicide was on the rise. So, according to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Chattanooga is the 23rd most dangerous city in America. So far as what I do as a councilman, I think we need to not defund the police department, but reform the police department. We do that by some of the crimes. 40%, according to the FBI, 40% of all the crimes are dealing with people with mental issues. Say if we had social workers, we had folks to address that, to alleviate that from the police department. They could address some of those serious issues that we do have. That makes Chattanooga the 23rd most dangerous city in America.
Do you think maybe mental illness plays a major role in some of the constituents or people in these areas taking part in crime? Or the mental illness or the homeless, or what do you think?
I think it's correlated to, it is. The homelessness, the people without jobs. They're doing the first law of self-preservation is to take care of yourself, right? So that's what they're doing. They don't have the jobs, and one thing I am doing is fighting for $15 an hour and benefits for city workers in the city of Chattanooga. Something we want to achieve by 2023.
Okay. On the city council, there are various committees. There is a committee that you would sit on as a budget. There is housing and development committee. There is law enforcement committee. What are some of the committees that you think that you would be a good fit for to get something done? Maybe not just for District 5, but may be able to help some of the other districts in the area.
I think since COVID-19, I've noticed that the bedrock of our community in District 5 and a lot of other, in Chattanooga in general, a small business. Small business is being hurt. They're hurt the most since COVID-19. And I think what I would do with the help of the other city council persons is that try to create block grants for small business, so we can build up the economy in Chattanooga. That's one way I come back. That's one of the programs I would want to be on. One of the
Economic Development
Committee. Correct.
Very good. Personally, where does your compassion lie? Personally, what are you most compassionate about? Because to run for any public official position, we have to go through an interview process. Personally, we can see, some of the personality and some of the rhetoric that comes from other people. Personally, where does your compassion lie?
My compassion, I guess, is the people in general, because I think I have the love and the admiration of people. I started off as a youth pastor at my church at Galilee. Then I started working with the elderly in my community through my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha.
Okay.
And I've worked with youth in our Save Our Boys program, which was at Eastlake Elementary through Eastlake Elementary School. And one of the programs we did, we helped the kids. It was 40 kids, which 15 were black, 15 Hispanic, and 10 were white. We helped them raise their math scores. We helped them raise their reading scores, and we helped them with just social skills too. I guess to answer your question, my passion in general is my love for people. I think that comes from my love for the Lord, and it shows that my love for people, because I love Him. I show it to others.
So it's very interesting. You should bring up your love for the Lord, because as I canvass and I look through the number of people and the people running for different council seats, the different candidates running for council seat, I think that we probably only see about 2 women. I've only seen about 2 women. If there are more, please let me know. There are mainly men running for a council seat, and we have always been taught that the man is the head of the household. He is to protect, provide, and prophesy over his family. And this may be a little bit personal, but if you're going to run a district, if you're going to be a council person for a district, would it be like you running your house?
I say I have a love for everybody, passion for everybody. I think that we're all qualified for various roles, and I think that as far as running a house, we all have our parts. We're one body, many parts in our community. In our community, the president of our neighborhood association, Jackie Dow, some of the leaders in our community are some outstanding women that I love and have admired for years. And I think the job for any office should go for the most qualified person, irregardless of race, irregardless of your sex. So, right.
Well, irregardless of your race and irregardless of your sex and irregardless of any creed, what is your feeling on just taking the reins, and will you be picking up where Mr. Gilbert leaves off, or will you come in with a totally new, fresh idea for District 5?
One thing I like to thank Russell Gilbert for his job, all the things he's done in District 5. As far as he did a lot with the youth, a lot with his involvement with the Brainerd area. I know in Washington Hills in particular, we got sidewalks thanks to Russell Gilbert, and we got a concession stand over there in Washington Hills. He did a lot in Washington Hills. I just want to expand on some of the things that Russell Gilbert has done. I guess I want to look at it holistically. I want to look at everything. Maybe we can get greenways in District 5 where our elderly can walk around and enjoy themselves, all that kind of stuff. And 2, we can improve on the recreational centers too in the neighborhood, where would encompass everybody, all the ages of our folks in our district.
So lastly, I told you this wouldn't be a very long interview.
Okay.
Lastly, what are your thoughts and your feelings about running for a city council seat? Did you ever think to start maybe with the school board, or maybe with some other organization to serve people? What is your feeling, or what made you run for District 5?
I think District 5, I saw a need in our area that I guess as I stated, I was a Washington Hills Neighborhood Association vice president,
Okay.
and I saw some of the needs in our area that still need to be addressed, and I want to help, I guess, at least address those issues, address some of the issues as I can, and some of the issues that some of the people in my area want to correct in our neighborhood. So I guess my love for people in our area, love for people in general in the Chattanooga. Chattanooga is probably one of the most beautiful city in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just blessed to be here in Chattanooga. But Chattanooga has there's a lot to be done in Chattanooga too, and I want to be part of that cutting edge and making a change, making a difference in our city.
But one last question: the difference. What kind of difference do you see that needs to be made? Is it in city government? Is it in the population as a whole? Is it in churches? Is it where? What changes do you see that need to be made in the city of Chattanooga?
I think what I guess personally, if we could address this, is the cohesiveness. I guess even among the African American people.
Oh, okay.
If we could bring each other, come together, if we could unite on certain issues, I think that's one start. I guess I can't talk about any other group, but I can talk about my group and some of our needs. That if we could come together and one commonality, that's one thing. That's where I would start.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Thank you, Mr. Hester, for just these few minutes that we've spent together. This is the Pulpit, Politics, and People, where we get information to make better and better and better good decisions. That may not be good English, but I think it gets the point across. Next week, actually this week, I have another interview scheduled with another candidate for another district. And then I will put that up on next Thursday. There's going to be a special edition of the Pulpit, Politics, and People. I'll put that interview up on Thursday at 7 o'clock on Pulpit, Politics, and People. And that's going to go live on Facebook. And then it's going to go live on YouTube also. So you can hit my YouTube channel. And you can also hit me up on Facebook to get copies or to just go back and view the interviews that are taking place with the candidates. And that is going to be this Thursday. I'm not sure what the date is. I'll tell you when it'll get there. So this has been Aaliyah Hakeem live with the Pulpit, Politics, and People, where we get information to make good decisions or better decisions. Thank you for joining me again. This has been Mr. Hester, a candidate for the District 5 City of Chattanooga Council seat. And maybe we'll have more incumbents, or we'll have more candidates to come on the show to just kind of give us a feel of what their platform is, what they're going to work towards, what their goals are for the various districts in the city. There are 9 districts, districts 1 through 9. This has been an interview for District 5 with Mr. Isaiah Hester. Be blessed, and please take every opportunity to be a blessing. Thank you, and good night.
That's something I wrote down too. That was